First and foremost, let us not forget that far more important than a victory on a Saturday afternoon is trying to fix things that weren't right. And hats off to Maryland for honoring Wilma Sadat Singh in today's contest by bringing his family in and doing what's right. You know, I think it was 76 years ago, a guy wasn't allowed to play in this field because of the color of his skin. 76 years isn't very long ago. And that injustice was, in some tiny way, cleaned up today. In a tiny way. I mean tiny. The thing I was most proud of about our kids wasn't the big hits, wasn't the rush yardage. It was during the game when they said, remember what we're doing this for, his family. And they kept saying that, and that's far more important than a football game on a Saturday afternoon. Couldn't be prouder of the kids because they understood that was far more important than the X's and O's. And with that, great victory. And any questions?
Raise your hand with questions for Coach, please, Michael.
Scott, this was two great games by the defense.
Yeah.
The turnover battle today was huge for you guys. How pleased were you with the way that they forced turnovers out there?
Really pleased. You know, had 4. You know, thought we should have had 5 that winner with Wiggum. I guess they might have been tangled up a little bit. And that was a nice play by him too. But 4-2, if we're +1 and rush for 50 yards or more, we're going to have a shot to win that game 90-some-odd% of the time. That's the formula we're always going to work at. Kids understand that. Real pleased. Thought Coach Bola, Coach Doust, Coach Lee, and Coach Reed did a great job getting this defense prepared to play a couple weeks in a row when there were a lot of doubters out there. We never doubted ourselves now. We got beat by a good Georgia Tech team a month ago. These kids never doubted themselves, and so pleased with the job that the defensive side of the ball has done, as well as the job that the offensive side did too. But love the way they're heading.
You guys had a really impressive drive to open the game, 16 plays. Have you been working on scripting the first few drives of the game?
Well, you know, to some degree, Nate, to some degree we have openers, not to the degree of Bill Walsh. But everyone copies off that to some degree all these years. What a tribute to Coach Walsh, right? I was excited about it too because when I watched Stanford play the other night, my good friend David Shaw and those guys out there, boy, I love the way they ran the ball, and they had some drives like that. And George and I were talking about it, and you know, it was nice to see our kids just kind of grit it up, play old hard-nosed football like Floyd played, right, Floyd? You know, and not be afraid to go for it on 4th and 1 or 2, and just run that power play and run that inside zone play and feel good about it. So not so much scripted, but the mindset was scripted. Make sense?
Coach Marquise and Dyshon were very disruptive today, getting in the backfield a lot. Just talk about what you saw from them.
Yeah, it's great to have Dyshon back. You know, Marquise has played really well. I've been pleased with the way 38's played all year. Those 3 kids are good linebackers, especially when they're playing next to one another. Good blitzers, you know. We got the young kid going a little bit there when those kids were banged up in Marquise Hodge, but it was good to see those 3 kids play next to each other a bunch today. But Marquise Sproul's done a nice job. You know, really taking charge of this defense and ran around pretty good today.
Scott, I heard your quick post-game interview. You said the penalties are keeping you up at night. It's not easy to win with over 100 yards of penalties. Were they mostly? What did you see from what the refs were calling today?
You know, I mean, the refs do a great job in this conference. Doug Rhodes heads off an unbelievable officiating crew in this conference. And they do a good job, you know. Unfortunately, we haven't done a good enough job taking care of the penalties, but great victory. Nothing like fixing something after a win.
David?
Scott, Jerome gets a season-high carries today. Without Prince Tyson for most of the game, do you guys sort of need him to pick you up?
Oh, the next guy in at running back, we got plenty of them, don't we, Floyd? Those 2 young guys that haven't gotten a ton of carries, you're going to love them too. Feel horrible for Tyson because I love Prince, and I know he was depressed because he really wanted to be a part of running that ball today. But the next guy in picked it up. I thought George Morris looked pretty doggone good out there a few times, didn't he? And there'll be a day where all of a sudden he just breaks a couple and everybody says, holy cow, where'd that kid come from? You say, well, he's been sitting behind 2 pretty good ones, you know. But been pleased to see all those kids work at it. Felt bad for Tyson. He'll be back. He'll be okay. He'll be ready to go soon.
Nate?
leading up to this game, you talked a lot about Reed and Ross now, two running backs, and how good they were.
Yeah.
Was it a focus point to really try to take them out of the game?
Yeah, but, not so much a person, taking out a particular person out of the game, but, just the fact that they had some success running the football, and that we wanted to do a good job. We just pull that shut there, Freddie, it's getting loud. You're okay.
Mark?
Sorry, that was loud. Heck.
Terrell Hunt looked great running the ball today. Something that he hasn't looked this good since North Carolina State. What was the decision for him to take a lot of rushes, and what did you think of his performance today?
Yeah, nothing. It wasn't really a big scripted type of deal where we said we needed to run the ball to the quarterback so much. It was just, when the opportunity came, I thought George made a couple good calls, a couple quarterback draws from empty, and then Terrell moved it with his feet well. Nothing really outside the ordinary, though. Just ended up being a pretty productive day for him.
I'll combine two. What happened with Darrell that he wasn't able to play the second half, and how did you think Ryan Norton did coming back to make 2 kicks?
Yeah, making the 2 kicks was good. I know he had the one kickoff that went deep in the end zone, and a couple drive kicks that were pretty good. Kicked it right to the guys we told them to, because they were leading the nation, or not leading the nation, but they were one of the top of the nation with the return game. And is that Bart? Is that Bart? So, I was pleased with Norton. I really was. What was the first part of the question?
Eskridge?
Yeah, Darrell, he got banged up a little bit. They think he'll be okay. We just I didn't want to risk it. He's a young guy with a lot of time left, and I want to take good care of him.
Take our final question from Ben.
Same thing with Rashard. He seemed a little banged up at the end.
Yeah, he's going to be okay. He's fine. I think we'll be okay, and we'll find out, the next day or a day or two. But for the most part, we came out fairly healthy. This time of year, everybody's banged up, but that's part of it. So, everybody good?
Thanks.
Okay.